Be nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that does it for our listener feedback. Let's talk about the only upcoming game of next week, and that is the national championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
All right, yeah, that's number 3 Georgia, 13-1 versus number 1 Alabama, also 13-1. The CFP National Championship presented by at&t from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Which, by the way, that stadium is very imposing. If you've ever driven by it, it's just a big brick building. I love that stadium.
It's fantastic inside.
It's a really nice looking stadium.
And the hotel, like, literally connected to it. Great.
Yeah. I just drove by it.
Yeah, I've driven by it as well, and it is an impressive building for sure.
Beautiful field.
All right, so look, I mean, this one, I feel like it's been like analyzed like almost every single way you can imagine it at this point. Not only have these teams already played each other, but we've had some time now for people to discuss as well, and people have just torn it apart this way and that. I think the answer to this one is simple. I mean, I think if the Dogs can pressure Bryce Young and, sack him, get him to make some throws that he doesn't want to make, I think they have a chance to win in this one. If they don't get pressure, I mean, you might as well just chalk this one up, put it in the history books for Bama, just like the SEC championship. I think it's kind of that simple. Now, look, I know Robinson had an incredible game against Cincy, not discounting their running game. But I think it starts with the pressure up front. And I think if they're able to get to Bryce Young, they're also going to be able to kind of disrupt the running game as well. So that pressure and that ability to control the line of scrimmage is going to be key, I think. So we'll see who wins that battle at the line of scrimmage. My only hope is that Georgia made some kind of adjustment, any kind of adjustment to slow Bama's offense, especially on the back end. I know Mechie's out, so that's going to be a little bit different. But Jamison Williams showed that it doesn't really matter. He can make plays, on his own too. So it doesn't really matter. I don't think that's too much of a factor, honestly. To be honest with you, it's going to be a battle up front. That's going to be where things are decided, I think. So I picked last game between Bama and Georgia to reverse the juju, and that didn't work. So that logic's out the window. I'm just going to pick what I want this time. I'm going Georgia 31-24. So, Jessi, what is your prediction? And I'm going to go ahead and put
as I said, I did not want this to be the game. I wanted Bama, Michigan. I felt really comfortable with that. I don't feel comfortable. Like Matt mentioned earlier, it's really hard to play a team twice. Back in 2011, I think we probably all remember LSU was ranked number 1 and we were ranked number 2. We played them at home in the regular season. It was a game of field goals. It was one of the worst games I have ever attended in my life. And we lost. But somehow, because we were still in the BCS system, we were able to go to a natty against LSU, and we didn't let them get across the 50-yard line at all.
I remember that.
So, worked out in my favor that time. Don't like this time. But I am still going to pick the Crimson Tide because I know you mentioned it. Obviously, they have to get pressure on our offense. But I think because we have started to expand it a little bit, it's not just that Bryce Young bomb down the field. We're able to, connect with Ja'Cory Brooks. We're able to connect with Slade Bolden, get those short passes out there. We're able to get the run game going with Brian Robinson. So I do feel a little bit better about that. Hoping that our offense clicks on all cylinders and that our defense is still there and that Will Anderson wrecks Stetson Bennett's life. So
wow.
I'm hot. I can't lose to Georgia. I'd rather lose to Auburn.
Well, you haven't for the past 7 times. So,
I would. I just honestly would. But I'm picking the Tide in a close one, 27-24.
All right. Matt, your thoughts.
I'm not going to make a pick. I'm going to use this time allotted to me to talk about how important it is to read with your children every night. 30 minutes here and there every couple of days is just kidding.
And spay and neuter your pets.
Both are important.
Both are very important. Anybody who knows me knows that I love football. I really enjoy talking football, but anybody that knows me personally knows I'm also a huge nerd. So with that in mind, I've decided this year, as part of my resolution, is I'm going to take more risks. So I'm going to take more risks this year. So I don't know if anybody recognizes what. Oh, stupid.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is.
it's a TARDIS.
It's not, ignore that. That's just the print. This is a bag, a dice bag. So what
Okay.
I'm going to do is I am going to go into the bag and I'm going to remove several things. Hold on a minute.
You're going into the Lane Kiffin bag
Yes.
of
Yeah, here we
tricks
go.
and
Okay, all right.
just
Here we go.
God.
So what I've got is I've got a 6-sided die. I almost lost one. And I still got it. And then I'm also going to use the 9-sided die because this is D&D dice and we're nerds. So I'm going to pick my prediction based strictly off luck, nothing going into it, no analysis, just risk. And here we go. Georgia's the red dice, Bama's the blue dice, and the score will be.
what?
You didn't.
Bama will win this thing 43-22. There you go.
I love
kids.
that outcome. I
That
pray to
is-
God that's the outcome.
There's my official pick.
Matt, if that's what it ends up being, I just quit. I
If-
officially retire.
You can't retire because then me and Jessi will be in charge and the podcast won't go on.
Oh man, what
Or
a
it'll just be weird.
yeah. I just it's gonna.
But in all seriousness, I do think Bama wins this thing by 2 touchdowns. But that's just me. I didn't see anything in the SEC championship game that made me think that Bama's going to be able to hang or Georgia's going to be able to hang. But weirder things have happened.
That's a good point. Like I said, my only hope is that I saw this happen with us in Auburn. Actually, when we went to the last national championship, we just got blown out by them in the regular season, and then actually had something for them in the SEC championship. Not really sure what changed, but obviously they analyze things and make adjustments, and that's, like I said before, adjustments are going to be key, not only from last game to this game, but Stetson Bennett even mentioned it when they were talking to him about what do you expect against Alabama, and he said, look, they may come out with something completely different against us than they did last time. And then at that point, he said, I don't think they will, but if they do, at that point, it's just going to be up to us to adjust. And I think it's the same for both teams, really. So we'll see who comes out doing what and who can make adjustments. So
Also, can we all just agree that making the game an 8 p.m. game on a Monday is cruel?
So
I didn't
sucks.
realize
So
it was
bad.
that late.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
So
8
bad.
p.m.
I wasn't going to watch it anyway, but yeah.
It sucks. It's on a Monday at 8 o'clock.
Don't laugh, Wes. I'm not kidding. I'm not watching that crap. I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not. I'll
Oh,
watch the
man.
highlights after. I'll look at the stat line. I'm not watching that game.
Jessi, you talk about you can't lose to Georgia. You realize I've had to put up with losing to Alabama for the last 7 times. How do you like what? I don't, at this point, it's yes, I want the Dogs to win, but I also want them to win for people to just shut up, right?
Trust me.
Like,
Nope. Never mind.
I don't mean you. I know you don't understand. I know that's not what you want, but from
No, I want.
from that standpoint of
I don't know if I think everybody. If you talk to most SEC team fans, they're probably all going to root for Bama.
Maybe
I
everyone
legit
else
think
is
that.
just
I think everybody else is
desensitized
just
like you are.
desensitized to Bama winning national championships, and nobody wants Georgia to do that.
It's kind of like, well, if we have to put up with somebody who's not us, then let it be who it's been for the past like 8
Right.
times.
The devil we
legit
know.
think that.
The devil we know.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. From that standpoint, I understand that logic. It's still frustrating, but I get it. So, yeah, it's, I think, hopefully it'll be a good game. If it's not a good game, I think it'll probably be favor Bama because, well, we've seen this movie before. So anyway,
seen this movie a couple of times, Wes.
yeah. I don't even get tricked into it anymore. I used to get tricked into it thinking I was going to have a different outcome, but now it's like, expect the worst, hope for the best type of thing. And that's my, gosh, I saw somebody who commented on one of our TikTok videos. Shout out to you guys, by the way. I appreciate everybody's feedback on TikTok. That's been really great. But somebody was like, that's how I watch all Georgia games now. I just sort of sit there and kind of just wait for something bad to happen. And then if it doesn't and good things happen, I'm just like really pleasantly surprised.
That's pretty much how I watch Tennessee games too. It's like, oh, this is going to be awful, but oh, look, it's not so. Oh, it's still awful.
Right. So, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Georgia is like I get it. I get why people enjoy to hate Georgia, because I mean that's what we do with our rival teams, anyways. Other teams that are in the same conference. But it's funny. Everybody's like, well, Georgia's irrelevant. Georgia's this. Georgia's that. I'm like, Georgia's more relevant than most of the teams in the SEC have been, even for the past 40 years. But yet they're openly mocked like every year just because. And let's be honest. And I'm going to say it. It hurts me physically to say this, but Nick Saban, probably the best coach to ever do it. Not probably, he is the best coach to ever do it. So the fact that Georgia is the runner-up is not even necessarily a slight or a cut. I mean, it's like you're a golfer playing in Tiger's prime, right? It doesn't mean that you're a terrible golfer or that you even, can't win the big one. It's just you're going up against someone who is the best. So, I hope Georgia wins, but we'll see. We'll see if Georgia can get that off their back, as it were. So, it's like I said, hopefully it'll be a fun one to watch for all, except for Matt, who's not going to. So
drink your coffee, people. It's going to be a late night.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I'll probably be drinking some coffee, some black tea, maybe some other caffeinated beverages. I don't know.
Depends on how the game goes, because if it turns a different direction, you may start drinking something else.
This is true. That's a good point as well. So, all right,
that's for both of you, because I could totally.
Oh, I know.
I can totally see.
Oh, I know.
Jessi climbing into a bottle of wine after losing to Georgia.
Oh man,
it might be bourbon.
Of course,
if you drink bourbon, Jimbo's going to show up if you say his name 5 times. Go stand in front of a mirror with a bottle of bourbon and a pair of cowboy boots on and go, Jimbo Fisher, Jimbo Fisher, Jimbo Fisher.
Literally what my nightmares are made of.
I can just see Jessi being like, what are you doing here? Get out of here. I hate you.
I just punch him. I would literally just punch him.
Oh, don't punch. He ain't done nothing to you.
I will be good.
And he'd be like, I'm sorry about that. Here are you. Anyway. All right. So